Hi, everyone, and welcome to the bi-monthly Vista Social Media Monday web shop. I'm Suzanne Knisner, and today we are bringing you our Social Media Monday web shop on using YouTube to tell your story of V. Please look in the lower right-hand portion of your screen, and you will see that we are asking you to answer a few questions. These polls help us to know who is participating in this webinar and direct them to your needs. With today, we have Liz Matthews, Outreach Specialist for the Corporation for National and Community Service, as well as Danielle Ricks, Social Media Specialist for Campaign Consultation, and Robin Stegman, Project Specialist for Campaign Consultation. Liz and Danielle will be presenting today, and Robin will be managing your questions and leading the dialogue in the chat feature of this presentation.
Thank you. So I'm going to give you a couple of tips for to participate in today's excellent web shop we have for you. First, if you have any questions at any time during the presentation, you can always submit them in the Q&A feature, which is under the chat feature. You'll see a little Q&A, and just pop your questions in there. We'll be reserving the chat for tips and resources and ideas that you have. We'll be asking some questions along the way and sharing some resources with you. But if you have questions or comments for your fellow Vistas, you can use the chat for there. And then we will also be opening up the phone line later for question and answers. So if you want to ask your question vocally to the presenter, there will be an opportunity at the end of the webinar for you to do so.
Thank you. So everyone, you should see the poll running on your right-hand side, and if you would, please just take a minute to answer that for us. It will help us give an idea of how we guide our conversation today. We want to know if you're using video in your position as a Vista. We'd also like to know how you're currently sharing video. YouTube, Vimeo, are you using a smartphone app such as SocialCam and Vine, or are there other apps that you're using or other ways that you're sharing your videos online? And then know why you're sharing your video. Is it to document your service, to promote a project, or share maybe your Vista experience with family and friends? Oftentimes it may be difficult to explain to them what you're doing, and since a picture shows 1,000 words, video has maybe twice that, 2,000. Or it could be just to showcase your talent. So we wanted to get a temperature in the room and figure out how you're using that. While you're taking a moment to fill out the poll, let's go over today's agenda. We will have an introduction of our Social Media Monday web shops and what they're all about, and an overview of what we're going to cover today. There will be an introduction of our Vista guests. We'll have some examples of video sharing sites and apps, and we are really hoping this is going to help drive the conversation as well today. We have not one but two Vista case studies for you, where we're going to go over some videos and some storytelling ideas with you. Have a few tips and resources during the chat, and in the chat today, Robin is going to be providing several links that we're going to be sharing with you. They will be available as well at the end of the presentation. And then, as Robin mentioned, we are going to open up questions and answers and open up the line. Now, this webinar is slated to run 60 minutes. Stay over for an additional half hour to answer questions if they come up. We haven't gotten them all in the hour, but if not, you can also join our tweet chat, which is going to happen after this presentation. That information will be available to you a little bit later. And also, please note and keep in mind that this is not necessarily a how-to use YouTube, how to sign up for Vimeo. It's more about the storytelling and us being able to give you examples of story of V and how you do that using video. We have several web shops available for you on the Social Media Monday archive page that are very basic how-tos, how to sign up, how to get started, how to start your channel. There are actually two, one on YouTube alone and then the other one on storytelling, and Robin again will be providing those links for you in the chat. This particular web shop is more about the nitty-gritty about let's talk about stories, how you tell stories. Let's get some examples of them. What kind of production value should you be using? What type of editing equipment should you be using? Those are those kind of things that we're going to talk about. Now, Liz is going to give you an introduction to social media and Monday, and then after that, we'll check and see if the poll, which should be done about that time once she's finished.
Great, Danielle. And thanks, everybody, for joining in on this web shop. We know you're very busy, and we appreciate you taking time out of your schedules to dedicate an hour or so to this topic. So just to give you a little bit of background, the Social Media Monday web shops are designed as part of your professional development. These web shops are focused, as you would imagine, on social media, and they occur the first Monday of every other month. We cover a variety of tools. For example, our last web shop was on Flickr, and in June we're going to talk about LinkedIn. So while these are fun tools to use in your personal life, these web shops are designed to talk how you can use social media professionally in your VISTA service to both move the mission of your organization forward as well as to achieve the goals in that. So I wanted to also remind you all that we have regular webinars on a variety of topics, from measuring poverty to resume writing, as well as life as a VISTA, so managing your health care, living on the living allowance. And this Thursday, there's a webinar on planning your professional development while serving. So you can check the calendar on the VISTA campus for upcoming topics and dates to register, and we'll remind you about that at the end of this web shop.
Great. We do have the poll results, so before I turn it back over to you, Liz, to do the overview, can you, Suzanne, just let us know what's going on and who we have on the call today?
Suzanne?
Yes.
Okay. So it looks like the majority of you are not using video in your position as a VISTA. So that is good to know, so that hopefully you can pick up some new tips during today's presentation, and that the majority of you who are currently sharing video are using YouTube. So that's great. And only a few of you are using other applications. And it looks like the majority of you are sharing videos online to promote your project, which is a great thing to be doing, closely followed by documenting your service. So we hope that with today's presentation that will give you some more resources to use in your service and to promote your project and to, of course, showcase your talent.
All right, on time, Liz. This is like so
Oh, that is good. Okay, well, thanks everybody for filling out that poll. That gives us a read as to, I would say, who's in the room, who's on the phone. So today we are going to talk about how video sharing can enhance what you're doing as a VISTA and what your organization is trying to accomplish in your community. As we know, images really help to tell the story. It's definitely more enticing to see a photo, or better yet, a video, to get a point across. So we're going to today look at ways to use video both to tell a story, to promote your project, or to promote VISTA, to raise awareness about poverty and the issues that your organization is focused on, whether that's hunger, or education, or homelessness, as well as showcasing your organization. So we're going to see some really great examples by our guests, and we are lucky to have two alumni as our guests today. This is unique. So welcome to Amanda Flitter in Manchester, New Hampshire, and Maggie Garvey from Prescott Valley, Arizona. Thank you both for joining us. Amanda, do you want to just tell us quickly where and when you served? I know you were both a member and a leader.
Yes.
Everybody where?
Yep. I served both terms in Manchester, New Hampshire with the Families in Transition VISTA program. So I started in 2010 right out of college. So my first year was spent at court-appointed special advocates in Manchester, and they do advocacy work for abuse and neglected children in courts. And I did a lot of marketing and social media and fundraising work with them. And then my second year was as a VISTA leader for the program, and office was at Families in Transition.
Great. Thanks, Amanda. So we'll be hearing more from her in a little bit. Maggie, you want to tell everybody where you served as a VISTA?
Sure. My term of service was in Prescott Valley, Arizona, working with an organization called Youth Count, supporting a nationwide initiative called Generations United. My term of service ended in 2007, and I was asked to step into the first coordinator role for our now statewide regional VISTA program. So I did VISTA in 2006 and really haven't stopped it yet.
We love it. A lifetime of service. That's what it's all about. Excellent. Thank you, Maggie. So we'll hear, like I said, in more detail from both of them in a bit. But for now, go ahead and turn it back over to Danielle.
Thanks very much, and thank you to our guests for joining us. And we're going to hear a little but as Liz said, more from them as they tell us how they're using video to share their stories of V. And right now I just wanted to sort of give you an overview of some of the video sharing sites and apps. I see in the chat that a lot of people are asking, what apps do we use? So first let's start with the sites. And the two big hitters out there are YouTube and Vimeo, and everyone I'm sure knows that YouTube is a video sharing website that allows literally billions of people to watch and discover and share originally created video. And the same goes for Vimeo. It's very easy to use. We'll talk a little bit about that on the next slide, but it's very easy to use. It's very easy to set up. One of the things that we like the most about YouTube is that it does have a nonprofit channel and allows you to do playlists. So even if you don't have a lot of content, you can pull content from other areas, and we'll talk about that in length in a little bit. Three of the most popular video sharing apps right now, and I have to address right now because this changes very quickly, but there are three that are very easy to use from your smartphone. Two of them, Vidi and SocialCam, are both for iPhone and Androids. They're compatible with both phones. So if you have an iPhone or HTC, you can use these. You'll go to vidi.com or cam.com from your smartphone or in your app store and download it and walk you through the process. Both of the apps allow you to share with other sites. What I like the most about SocialCam is that you can share them with YouTube. And we'll be talking about YouTube today. And I do recommend that when you're using these two apps, either one of them or any of these apps that you're using, that you do back it up to a video site. Oftentimes, these wonderful, fantastic apps come around for a couple of years and then they disappear, and it takes your content with you. You can see in the screenshot that there's a little sign there to go ahead and post this to Posterous, and guess what? Posterous is gone now. The blog has already gone down and was so popular for such a long time. So again, you want to make sure that you're backing this up either on YouTube or you send it to a cloud service like a Dropbox or Evernote or somewhere where you can hold on to it. The other one I talk about is the new kid on the block, and that's Vine. And they're owned by Twitter. They haven't been out very long. Right now it's just an iPhone and iPad app and allows you to take short looping videos. So you're not going to be able to tell a very long story of V, but you can capture moments. It's a new kid on the block. We're not sure what the longevity is going to be with it. A lot of brands are using it, however, so it may be something fun for you to experiment with if you're a creative type. A lot of animators are using it. I would definitely, if you have an iPhone or iPad, check it out, see if you like it. And it's, again, another way for you to just share very quickly. What I like about the apps are that you can download video very quickly using these apps. With the iPhone, you can actually edit them on your phone using iMovie, upload it to the site, and be done with it. But if you want to do a little bit more storytelling that's a little bit longer and can get to more of the crux of what you're doing in your service project, then we do recommend doing a YouTube video or a Vimeo. So let's go ahead to the next slide. This is Vimeo. There are two versions of it. There's the Plus and the Pro. And this, as it says, is the easiest way to keep and share your lives and video. You can do it in HD. If you want to go professional and pay for it, you're going to go Pro. Otherwise, you can just go Plus, and it's an express for uploading photos. It's clean, easy, very easy to use, user-friendly. If you have not delved into video sharing yet, I would suggest starting here. And video link there is just vimeo.com to get started. And again, Robin has those links, and she's dumping them into the chat feature for you. They'll also be available for you at the end of the presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and share my desktop and take you over to an example. And we're going to be showing you quite a bit of video today. Not very long, and that's a good thing because you don't want to tell your story in a way that's going to distract people or keep them from being very interested. There's been a lot of studies on this. So far, they're saying the sweet spot is somewhere between 120 and 3 minutes. We can debate that back and forth with our guests who are on the phone, who are going to be coming in a little bit later. And let's go ahead and just take a look at the Vimeo channel. You can see it's very, very clean. And this particular person didn't even upload, so you don't have to. But I was able to find this video using the AmeriCorps Vista search. So I just dumped in AmeriCorps Vista, and I wanted to see what other videos were out there. I found several, and this is the one that we picked. I
from the fight. I've been fighting for tomorrow all my life. Yeah, I woke up this morning feeling brand new, 'cause the dreams that I've been dreaming have finally come true. It's a new day. 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 It's a new It's time for unity, for us and we. That's you and me together.
And what I like about this video is that it was very simple, very easy to do. The editing was probably the most difficult part about it, but they took a very easy idea. They did their credits and talk on the sidewalk. They used regular pieces of paper to tell their story, and it was basically music with a little bit of and anyone, I know you may not think you have the skills, but I'm telling you, anyone can do this. I now want to take you over to YouTube for Nonprofit and talk a little bit about that. It is the reason why we like YouTube so much. And you can tell your organization's stories through videos on YouTube, and they have a special program for nonprofits. You don't have to start with a nonprofit channel, but if you are working for an organization and social media is part of your responsibility and you are able to start your own channel and you are able to take advantage of the nonprofit program, we highly recommend that you go ahead and apply. All the information is for you right here. It's a 1, 2, 3-step process. You apply right here. Robin's going to give you the link chat, and you can download the Playbook Good, which will help walk you through it. I'm going to play a small, quick video for you that's going to explain the program a little bit better probably than I can.
Does your organization have a compelling story to tell? Do you want to connect with your supporters, volunteers, and donors, but don't have the funds to launch expensive outreach campaigns? The Youth Nonprofit Program can help.
If I could give one piece of advice, it would be sign up for the YouTube Nonprofit Program. If I could give another piece of advice, it would just be to capture the story of your organization and use video to tell it, because video is the most powerful medium by far.
The Nonprofit Program helps you use YouTube as a powerful fundraising tool for your organization.
This weekend, we managed to raise enough to feed 500,000 children at school for one day. The video also gained over 500,000 views and had thousands of comments.
And tell stories that haven't been told.
As you guys, the YouTube community, start sharing these videos, there's been housing programs started and feeding programs started. Literally, homeless people that were sleeping outside slept inside last night because of you guys.
Over 10,000 nonprofits already using YouTube's premium tools for nonprofits. Your organization can too. Learn and apply at www.youtube.com/nonprofits.
So that's an explanation about the impact that YouTube Nonprofit Program can have and the outreach that it can have. I wanted to go over now to the Corporation for Community Services YouTube channel. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this channel? Is this a government or a nonprofit?
Sure. So it is a government channel, and that means that there's not a limited length of video that we can upload a video that's 15 minutes long, even though ideally the videos that you all are putting together are probably shorter, 1 to 2 minutes. And we can also brand the page, which is great. And if you scroll down a little bit, Danielle, you can see that the AmeriCorps Vista channel is within the playlist there on our on the CNCS page. So obviously every organization is set up differently, but because AmeriCorps Vista is within the Corporation for National and Community Service as part of the federal agency, it makes sense for us to be listed there as a playlist. And then folks can go to all of our different videos as well as accessing it directly from YouTube.
And that's a great point. And from our channel, you will see that we have our own Vista channel. It is a nonprofit channel, which means that we restrict it to only upload videos of up to 15 minutes, which may be plenty for those of you out there, but there are some other advantages for the nonprofit YouTube program that you may want to go ahead and explore. So for our homepage, we picked This is Vista, and I'm going to talk over it sort of as it plays. One of the things that I wanted to point out, again, are these playlists, which we really like quite a bit because these are our uploaded videos that are featured on the page, and then these are favorite videos from around YouTube. In other words, you all's pages and you all's videos we kind of put there to highlight the work that maybe we're not connected in any other way. We're not connected on Facebook, maybe we're not connected on Twitter, but we found a great example of Stories of V around YouTube, and we wanted to add them to our playlist so that people coming to our channel can find you. And then our Vista Volunteers Reporter project that we did, and some other really interesting videos. Of course, the Social Media Monday webinars are here. So this will hopefully give you an idea of the kind of things that you can feature on the playlist, and you may think that you don't get a lot of video to get started, but you could add AmeriCorps Vista to your playlist and some of our videos. You could add some videos from the Corporation for National Service to your playlist, and that will help you build out your channel and make it more of your own. So now I am going to stop sharing my desktop for a while. We talked about Vimeo. We gave you the example. We talked about YouTube for nonprofits, and we hope that you guys will go ahead and take advantage of that, at least investigate. We talked about the CNCS on YouTube channel. We talked about AmeriCorps Vista on YouTube channel, and now we would like to go ahead and introduce you to our guest. So hi, Amanda.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great. Let's just dive right in there. How did you get started doing these videos when you were a Vista?
I actually first learned about all the different ways you can use YouTube and video to sort of support your project when I was at my Vista Leader training last September. I was in Indianapolis, and I spoke with a fellow Vista leader who she had mentioned during one of our workshops that her project actually had each of their Vista members do their own video and sort of tell their story. And then what they actually did was at the end of the year, they would sort of hold a community showcase. So all the members would attend, and they would invite site supervisors and other members of the community so they could kind of have a screening of all the different videos that their members put together. So it seemed like a really compelling way to start telling our story because the Families in Transition Vista program had only been around for a couple years, so we hadn't really done too much with video yet, and it seemed like a really neat opportunity to sort of start branding our project and to get our members' stories out there because we had, I believe, it was between 28 and 30 different members doing different things all across New Hampshire. So it seemed like a really neat way to start telling their story.
How long did it take for you did you do a storyboard? Did you come up with a theme? For people out there who are saying, boy, that sounds great, but I don't even know when to get started. What's the very first thing you want to tell them? We're going to show your video in a minute, but what's the very first thing?
Okay. And the very first thing I did was kind of, okay, well, what is the goal of these videos? What do you want people, to take away from it? And I really wanted, we as a program wanted to really give people the opportunity to kind of talk about their individual sites and the great things that they were all doing individually because they were just doing such a neat variety of things. So I think that was sort of the first thing is to kind of have that long-term planning. And then also, just because we had a lot of members and knew we wanted to all of a sudden start doing a lot of video, we kind of planned it out and we created a timeline of when we wanted to have certain videos done by, so we sort of had a steady stream throughout the year.
I'm going to go over to the channel now. So you chose the logo.
Yes.
To go here. And how else, what else did it take to build out this channel?
I didn't do a nonprofit channel, so it was pretty simple. I just kind of kept in mind, the colors of the Families in Transition logo, sort of matching the blue and green, so it definitely had that feel to it. I've noticed that actually they're starting to post a lot of new videos now since I've moved on, and you can tell that they've also sort of kept the colors too and made sure that, the subtitles are matching fonts. So if you're, I know some organizations have strong branding, some don't, but definitely things like matching colors and using the AmeriCorps logo and having those little subtitles at the bottom, which a lot of programs make it really easy to put those in, just make it look more cohesive and more professional.
And I will point out that AmeriCorps Vista is in the title for the About for the channel, and so it makes it really easy for you guys to be found in the search feature. So talk to me a little bit about Meet Amanda. This is actually how we found you, right, Liz?
Yeah.
Video.
Right.
So talk to me a little bit about this video, Amanda. The audio is a little low here.
Yeah, because of the space you're in was a little bit echoey. But actually, I definitely was not alone in this project. I had a co-Vista leader, and so she was actually the one behind the camera on this and kind of gave me a taste of my own medicine, so to speak. But we would just kind of tape it in different chunks, so that way we sort of have longer versions and shorter versions. So I usually had 3 or 4 questions that I wanted to ask each member, kind of, why they chose Vista, what their site and specific project was about, and kind of some big highlights from their year so far, and kind of had them as separate chunks so that way we could kind of put them together but then also take them apart if we wanted to do shorter versions.
And what I really liked about this is that Families in Transition follows Vista on Twitter, and they tweeted the heck out of this and so many of the other videos, and that's actually how we found out about this particular video and this particular page. Now, did you all share from the page, or did you come up with a strategy to do something separate on how you were going to use these videos in social media?
I think it just kind of grew as part of it. We knew pretty much from the beginning that when we had these videos that it would be really simple, to just use the links to share them on Facebook and Twitter. And I think we realized that was really important so that, our audience could really find them. And because our YouTube channel, it was new, so we wanted people to know that it was there. So I think linking to it on your website is another good option if your project or your host organization has one. That's always a really great opportunity to really push it there as well.
And we go on to our next case study. Can you talk to us a little bit about the production? What tools did you use? What software did you use to edit this? I see that you're using, Word Chiron, we call them, over a black background. What did you use to produce that?
I had I was actually a program that came not with the actual camera I used for this was a FlipCam. So FlipCam actually does have its own video software, but it didn't have as much capabilities as I wanted. So I was kind of lucky enough I had some video editing software on my laptop from a previous video camera I worked with before. But if you have a Mac, you definitely have iMovie on there. For Windows computers, you have Windows Movie Maker, and I've also used that before, and it's pretty simple. So those are just 2 free options that people tend to have access to, and those definitely have all the capabilities that you need, because this was my first time working with video, and since we were doing so many, I kept it pretty short and simple. So things like Windows Movie Maker and iMovie, they have that ability to just easily put in titles and easily do simple transitions. So it kind of just, I can see it's kind of a simple looking video, but it still gets the message across. And I had so many videos to do it, to keep it simple, made it not as overwhelming to sort of jump into the whole video process.
Anything, Liz, you wanted to add?
Yeah, actually, Amanda, I wanted to ask, the background that you had set up, so was that a sign that you actually had in the background, or was that part of the video editing process?
There's actually a wall in our office that had the logo in it, so I was sitting in front of that, yeah. Okay,
and you just, in terms of sound, you just, was there anything that you did to make it a little bit quieter in the background, or how did you manage that?
I think it was just sort of planning ahead whenever we went, people's different offices. We sort of made sure, okay, give your coworkers a heads up that, you might be doing video if you're in a small office, which was the case for our office. Everything is pretty open, so we would just let people know, hey, we're shooting a video for the next, half hour or however long it was going to take. So if you could just please keep it down. So it took a little bit of teamwork.
Right.
With Cam, it's pretty simple, and we didn't have like a sound setup or anything like that. It's possible.
That's great. Yeah, I think overall content is probably more important than the quality, and we do appreciate the co-branding there. I think if you all, as you create these videos, can really make a concerted effort to, of course, include your organization's logo, but also to include AmeriCorps Vista, because it's really important for us to be identified and be associated with you all. We need folks in communities to connect the dots so they understand that it's AmeriCorps Vista members that are doing this work. So it's really important, and we really appreciate that. So thanks for such a great example.
Great, you're welcome.
And stick around. I know folks are going to have questions for you. They're probably putting them in the chat right now. So
great.
And we really appreciate it. Now we're going to move on to Hi, Maggie. How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for being here. So we wanted to talk a little bit about the YouTube channel that you all started and the videos that you've done. And we'll dive right in. How did you get started? And yet, why did you get started?
You know, I think we really just started using video as part of our social media work. You know, social video content is so digestible by the social media community, and so it led us naturally to start making these videos. And we had a large event here in town. I wanted to have some type of a breakup between the speakers for Martin Luther King Day, and we put together a small video for that kickoff celebration for Martin Luther King Day, and we uploaded it, and that people watched it. And that was really the beginning of us into using video as part of our social media strategy.
And for the Vistas who you all are managing social media, but for those who really maybe that's not in their job title, this is still a great way for them to get word out about what they're doing. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. You know, it's simple. You know, the more people have been using things like YouTube and the more videos people are producing, the less picky the audience is about things like video quality or sound quality. So none of us have to be kind of, you know, Hollywood movie makers. We just have to get people in a room and set up a flip cam and ask them good questions, and all of a sudden you have a video that's worth posting. It's really not hard. It's just the leap of getting into it.
So thinking about getting into it, let's go and let's look at some videos that you've done, and one of them we're going to start sort of in order of difficulty, and we'll work our way down. Here's the first one, and I believe this is the really long one, correct?
Yeah.
Heirlooms Earth is a network of people who are working together to fight poverty and strengthen our community.
And I am the Director of Development for the Coalition for Compassion and Justice.
My name is Claire Luge. I'm the Community Outreach Coordinator with First Things First.
My name is Levi Mason.
So talk to me a little bit about this video, Maggie. What was the concept behind it, and how did you go about putting it together?
Yeah, if there's one point I can make on this call today, it would be to think about strategic storytelling. So this video we put together, you'll actually see in the background of some of these shots, there are Christmas decorations behind a couple of these people. So we shot this footage in November and December, really. We held on to the footage and put it together so that we could drop this video during AmeriCorps Week, because we wanted to do things. One, we wanted to add our story to the nationwide stories during AmeriCorps Week that was putting that Vista helps people get into jobs, that it helps you build a pathway to employment. And we have some really awesome alumni, and we really wanted to highlight the work that they've done. The other thing we wanted is that we found in our last recruitment cycle that competition during recruitment is kind of heating up. So we have a quick way to be able to tell people who are already looking at our project about how successful our members are at finding employment in work that they love to do. So we made this video strategically. One, it tells the story of all of these alumni. But the other is that it allowed us to participate in the kind of national conversation that was happening at AmeriCorps Week. And our hope is, we'll see what happens in the upcoming recruitment cycle, but our hope is that it also helps people who are applying to our project understand more about who we are as an organization and what we're good at.
Someone's going to look at it and say, oh my goodness, that's a 9-minute video, that's really long. But you were strategic about this, and your hope is that people will watch it in parts, watch it in full. What was your thinking about the timing of it?
Yeah, so the coalition, the kind of 1 minute to 3 minute, all of that research is kind of about YouTube videos that are kind of in the old marketing paradigm, which is kind of like interruption marketing, right? That you're only going to pay attention if you're interrupted for maybe a couple of minutes. these videos are designed to support what we consider inbound marketing. So once somebody's already at your page, and maybe they're already thinking about applying to national service, and they might already be thinking about applying to your project, they're much more invested in sitting through a longer video. It isn't something that we would kind of like put, it's not a Super Bowl commercial, but it is a larger educational piece that we would use as part of supporting our website or blog or those kind of things.
So you were strategic about it. You knew it was inbound marketing. You knew you wanted it to be a little bit longer. Let's tell them what type of effort it went into this, how many hours, and how much editing, how much shooting.
Oh, is there that? My guess is that it's probably somewhere close to 100 hours because we did 10 interviews that were all an hour long. So you go through kind of editing all of those, which means you're going to need to watch all of those videos a couple of times and piece them all together. I can see in the video, the content, there's noise in the background, the edit transitions are really rough. It's not spent a lot of time making it look perfect, but it's still a lot of footage to go through. So the return on investment, we had talked about that earlier. We'll see if this video actually helps people understand who we are better through the recruitment process, which is our hope.
Liz, I know you had a couple of questions for her as well.
No, I think she she may have answered them. You did such a great, thorough job here. I think that make a point that the video can be for a specific reason is really important. So I think this is great. So thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
All right. So now let's go over to another one, and let's say a little bit of this one, and then Maggie, I'll just ask you a couple of questions on how differed. We know the man hours and the time is different, but it has a different feel to it as well, and a different audience. I'm trying to get the audio. Hold on one second, because it's you got to hear the audio with it.
Definitely.
It makes the video.
Not just anybody. I need someone. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way. Now these days are gone and I'm not so self-assured. Now I find a gentle mind and open up the door. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down.
Maggie, what are we watching? How is this different in so many ways from the other video we just saw?
About captain live content. So our team here was just incredibly team-spirited and put Flash Mob together. And when they did it, of course, we thought we have to capture that to be able to put it up, use it with our social media work. So you can actually see there are different angles. There were actually 2 different flip cams in that room, and we're switching back and forth between the angles for who had a better shot because it's really only going to happen once. So you have enough people on the floor recording so that you don't miss it. And editing for this maybe took us an hour. It was just kind of put it together, make sure the music lines up with their actions, and put it up. And that was also part of our AmeriCorps Week stuff. We did this locally to get people to questions about what we do, really, and we used it the same way in national content, just to get people to, 548 people to watch it and think, okay, that looks fun, and maybe what is this national service thing, and can I go find out more about them?
What I like about this is she showed you all in the previous video a very strategic plan video and how they were going to use it, and they knew what they were using it for in the marketing. And this is in the moment, live. You want to capture what's happening in the moment, and the quality maybe isn't as good as the other one, but it doesn't really matter anymore with the YouTube. Wouldn't you agree, Maggie, that people are sort of used to the grainy and the shots that are a little shaky?
Actually, I was just watching a TV the other day, and there's a commercial for, I think it's like a dentist or something. Oh, it's Crest Pro Health. And it's it's a commercial that is a woman pretending that she's holding a flip cam talking about how much she loves this product. So what you see happening in the marketing world is that it's easier for us to digest quality film like this, that we get authentic and relationship building, with a kind of the high gloss, really produced stuff. We see it a little bit more removed. So in some ways, the fact that this is jumpy and it's hard to hear people may look like we're real humans who really got this, which is endearing to our audience in some way.
And what a shot to end on. That's cute. And then we've got one more example to show you, and I'm going to see if I can get the audio right so that I can enlarge this. Here we go.
I know AmeriCorps works. 570 teens are being positively impacted through leadership programs, mentoring programs, and a variety of after-school programs and the Priceless Prom Project, thanks to our AmeriCorps.
I know AmeriCorps works. 32 family members in Preston are able to learn English as a second language, work on their homework with their kids, and learn computer skills because AmeriCorps works.
I know AmeriCorps works. 23,000. That's the number of hours that were generated by community volunteers in support of our National Service members and the community organizations they support. 7,000 volunteers helped to contribute to that 23,000 hours of service. That's how I know AmeriCorps works.
I know AmeriCorps works. 5,060 families in the greater Prescott area were assisted with basic human needs. 560 of these people were children under the age of 5 that weren't eating on the weekend. All these programs exist because of the help of AmeriCorps Vista.
I know AmeriCorps works. A billion. That's how many people I hope see the new website built by our AmeriCorps Vista member called PrescottBikeNet.org.
Now, talk to us a little bit about this video because it's a very compelling way to use statistics. Oh, I can say the word right now, statistics, as opposed to writing it down in a memo or emailing it to someone. This is a much more compelling way to tell the story.
Right. It is. I think this is a perfect example of a video that's like these supervisors. We get our supervisors together once a month and ask them to kind of come up with, give me a stat, give me something that proves the impact of what's been going on at your. And they kind of came up with this narrative, and we talked about the AmeriCorps Works tagline to fit the national narrative that was happening for that AmeriCorps week, and so scripted that they sound scripted. Like our advisors were a little uncomfortable doing this activity with us. But it had a good number of views, mostly because when we put it out on our Facebook and Twitter account, we tagged these other organizations in it, and those organizations shared that video as well, because we're representing not just our own work, but also the work of all of these partnering organizations. It's a fun way for us. And that video, we shot in probably 35 minutes, and then it probably took us another 40 to edit it and put it together. The longest part of that was creating these slides with the text and really simple stuff.
So, for example, you did a fantastic job, Maggie, of taking us from a very long, strategic look at how you can do a video to live in the moment, to something that can really tell a story with statistics, but took maybe an hour and a half to do total. So I think those are great examples.
Okay, glad it could be helpful.
And now give rights back to Suzanne, and take my finger off the trigger for a minute. And we'll go ahead and hear from Robin. Are there any questions in the chat that we can get answered for the folks on the line?
There's some discussion in the chat. The first was about music licensing, and some of the examples of videos we've seen so far have music like will.i.am or music that might not be, technically can't be used. So where should Vistas go to make sure that the music that they're using is legal for them to use in their videos?
I'll come in and then I'll ask the guests to help and tell us what their experience were. For they're going to kick you out as quickly as YouTube, but YouTube has very strict restrictions on using music that you do not own the rights to. So where we get our music from is really the software that we're using. There's some common use music that comes with iMovie. There's common use music that comes with Live Movie Maker. Now, there's not that much music. You end up hearing the same music over and over again, but there's plenty to choose from. They're different lengths. You can loop them. You can add special effects to them to stretch it out, and these are completely legal. You may also want to see if there's any music owned by your organization that they own the rights to, and if you could digitize those or find them already digitized, that's a good use as well. But you absolutely want to have the rights to the music that you're using for any of the projects that you're doing in video. And I believe the reason why you were able to see that in Vimeo was because it did have a very small audience. They weren't really marketing that channel, but that does not fly very well on YouTube. It will not last very long on YouTube if you're using someone else's music. And anything, Amanda or Maggie, you'd like to add?
Covered it, but yeah, I definitely want to second the whole YouTube will find it and they'll take it down pretty quickly, because I had happen at actually in my first organization that I served at. We had put up a video and all of a sudden it was taken down. So it's definitely something to be aware of.
And the thing is, they may clear rights in the United States. You may have a song that clears rights here, but because YouTube is globally, it may not clear rights in the other parts of the country. So it's better to just use the music that comes with the software that you're using, or use music that you know owned by your organization, or any of your original music that you're willing to donate to your project.
I will tell you on that it is a problem. So the Flash model that we posted, the first I uploaded that, we didn't give music credit in the box below the video to the music that we were using, and the video was taken down immediately. The second time we put it up, we gave, our credit is due to the artist that we sampled in the Flash model, and it stayed up on YouTube so far. So do I think we're treading a kind of a line, because we don't actually have rights to all those songs? Sure. But it stayed up, and in the world of YouTube, making money off of the video, so we'll see how it goes.
Right. Colin Johnson has put in the chat that Amazon has royalty-free music for less than $1, and then Patrick Reynolds has given a link to creativecommons.org and Mobi, GRATIS.com, and they both have royalty-free music as well. And that's great information to know. Anything else, Robin? Anybody giving us some tips on how they're using? And I know that we a lot of talk about FlipCam, and they talked about it being discontinued, and they have gone out of business. We'll still honor all flip videos are still working as long as they're working, but they have gone out of business. My suggestion is really to use, if you have a smartphone, your smartphone, all smartphones have the ability to download a video app, and I've got to tell you now that many of them are in HD. They have very, very clean video for the kind of things that you may be using in your service to tell your story of V.
Yeah, we had some.
I can barely hear you, Robin.
Okay, we have some other questions surrounding the permission to music, and we did talk about the flip cams. So what are some other ways to actually take video? I know that the iPhones, you can use your video to do that.
Androids as well. Maggie, me and Amanda, both of you were using flip cams?
Yeah.
We have some kind of Canon point-and-shoot cameras that are a little bit more advanced, that have some video capturing. So those videos were shot with with either the Canon or the Canon cameras.
And
Yes.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that's a good option to investigate if your host site has a still camera but not necessarily a video camera. Sometimes, cameras times come with some sort of video function now, so you can definitely see if that has a lot of quality, although definitely, smartphones too, which we had already talked about, are really good for video now.
Right. Okay, so we're at 3:52, and we have one question?
Yeah, we just had one other question about editing tools for the videos.
Sure. I like iMovie for iPhone and Live Movie Maker if you're using a PC, Mac, or an Android. How about you, Amanda? I think you guys talked about a couple of those as well. Maggie, did you have any of your favorites that you wanted to share?
No, that Amanda uses are the exact same ones that we use. I mean, we don't have a lot of money, so nobody's investing tons of money in some fancy software. It's really like the software that comes with FlipCam, iMovie, or Movie Maker. Maybe sometimes Movie Maker Pro. Like nothing too fancy.
Right. For those of you in the chat asking the question, iMovie for iPhone and iPad, Live Movie Maker for your PC or Android, both are free, and oftentimes your camera, whatever camera you're using, will come with its own editing software as well, and that's free. So that's our biggest recommendation for you now. And those are free. I'm looking in the chat. So we're with a couple of tips. We do want to get to some of the questions on the line. We're running out of time, but we do have the call till 4:30. So YouTube for Nonprofit tips, which stream events live, like the flash mob. Think about if you're at an event and you want to tweet out the event or put the event on Facebook. This is where your phone and your app are going to come in. You're going to shoot a little bit, maybe 30 seconds, send it right off to YouTube, or send it off to Twitter, send it off to LinkedIn. LinkedIn too. And you've got your audience. They're there in the moment with you. You'd be surprised what that will get. Your return back on that. The other one, and I think Amanda talked about this a little bit, is embed your video. YouTube allows you to embed your videos on your website, or you can show them on your channel or on your Facebook page. And embedding your video on your website will keep the people who are following you, they are no longer going to have to ask, what do you do? They'll be able to look and see what you do and what your impact is. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. That's creating a playlist. So if you have a lot of good content, consider creating a playlist so that you can control what the viewer will see next. And I mean, you can order some of your best videos up top. Maybe your mission has changed, or maybe you have an event that you're trying to promote. You can move the playlist around and move the videos within the playlist around to control what people see first. Share it, obviously. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. You can share in your newsletter or e-blast. So you might want to put in your newsletter and e-blast. At the bottom, you might want to put a link to your blog, the link to your Twitter and Facebook account, and then a link for your video as well. You can, by adding it to your email signature. And my favorite is share it on Pinterest. People think that Pinterest is just for pinning photos that they find across the internet, but it is also for pinning video as well. So you can create a board on Pinterest and include your video there. Okay. So Liz is going to talk to you a little bit about our VS4 page while Suzanne goes over there to show you. And Liz, you can tell them how we actually found Amanda.
Excellent. Thank you, Danielle. So I wanted to just bring this up because video is another way for you to submit what VS4 means to you. So this is our campaign that encourages Vistas to submit what means to them, either through photos or, like I said, video, or the good old-fashioned written word. And we choose a winner each month, and they receive a vintage Vista T-shirt that you can see there on the screen in the lower left-hand corner. So we came across Amanda's video, and so that's how she became the February VS4 winner, and now she is proudly wearing around New Hampshire her T-shirt. So it's just it's a fun way for us to, again, show to the general public, to potential members, to stakeholders, what Vista is all about. And we've yet to choose the winner for March. So if you've got a video that you have already made but have yet to post it on any of our social media sites, please go ahead and do that. So we can go ahead and by the end of this week, I'll have selected the winner for March. So go ahead, whether it's a video, put it up on our YouTube channel, or post it on Twitter or Facebook, and we will get in touch with you if you're the winner. So that's what that's all about.
We're getting close to the top of the hour. We still have a little bit of housekeeping we're going to do. So we're going to save the questions. We're going to move through this, and we'll stay on the line with you until 4:30 to answer your questions. We're also going to have a tweet chat using the hashtag VYouTube. So if you don't get your questions answered in the chat, you weren't able to get in on the line, we'll be free to answer them on Twitter. We also want to encourage you to keep some things in mind. So Liz is going to go through some of the things that we need you to do while you're out there in the digital space.
That's right. This is the not as fun part. So if you all remember from your pre-service orientation, you were made aware of the Hatch Act, which you all have to abide by when you are a VISTA or VISTA leader. So it's restrictions on political activity. So if you're in doubt of whether what you want to do is violating the Hatch Act, go to your VISTA handbook, which is on campus, and look at all the do's and don'ts and see if you can go ahead with what you're trying to do. We ask that you just be tasteful, appropriate. This is no longer your personal social media that you're doing here. You should also be tasteful in your personal, but professionally, we'd really like you to remember that you're representing VISTA and you're representing your organization. So just keep in mind the general rule. If you don't want to see what you're posting on the cover of the New York Times, then you probably shouldn't be posting it. And just finally, staying safe online, keeping passwords in a secure place, and so forth. So you can read through those, and we just wanted to remind you of the serious side of social media. So some things to keep in mind there.
Thank you. And for those of you who are on the call, this presentation will be available for a couple of weeks on the Social Media Monday course page. Any of the other videos that we have in the archives are available now. The link will be provided for you in the chat. Please do take a look at those. For those of you who said you're brand new to using video, I do recommend that you look at those 2 video sharing and YouTube presentations that we did earlier. These are some useful links for you from today's website. These are all available for you. The next one are VISTA Social Media Monday links, and we're hoping that you're following us across the social web, and those are where the places that you can find us. Finally, you'll see an evaluation taking place right now in the right-hand lower corner. We would really appreciate it if you go ahead and fill that out for us. These will help us figure out what we do in future websites and also help us improve these sessions for you. And we do thank you very much for your time and participation. And Liz is going to tell you about some other upcoming opportunities.
So I mentioned earlier in the call, this Thursday is an opportunity for you to actually focus on planning your professional development. So no matter where you are in your service year, this is relevant, and it can really give you some good tools for what resources are available and how to work professional development into your day and into your weeks and your months as you serve. So again, you can check out the full calendar of the upcoming webinars on the VISTA campus. So I know you all visit the campus today, multiple times a day, so please check out the calendar. And we will, for our next Social Media Monday in June, the first Monday in June, focus on LinkedIn. So this is tips for using LinkedIn for nonprofits. So we hope you will join us for that web shop. So thank you all for being here.
If those of you who can stay on the call, I'm going to turn it over to Suzanne. We're going to open up the lines to see. I see a lot of questions happening in the chat. And while we're getting ready to do that, I just see one that I would really like Liz to
I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, good.
Yes, the sequester. So let's see, I saw it up here. What if you were trying to use video to make the case for VISTA to survive the sequester? How do you advocate without lobbying? Wow, we really appreciate your sentiment there. You can absolutely not make a video as a VISTA about the sequester. You can do it as just as an individual, not associated with VISTA. if you wanted to address that. But that's really sticky territory, and it would be you'd in deep trouble if you were to post something with a Vista T-shirt on about the sequester. So we really do appreciate folks being concerned, trying to lobby in favor of Vista. Unfortunately, it's not something that you can do while associated with Vista or your site. It would have to just be personal as an individual.
Great.
So hopefully answers that question.
Yeah.
Great, Liz, for that answer. Becca, if you can please give us instructions for how to answer or ask questions on the line, and after Becca gives us those instructions, we'll look at chat and see what we can answer in the meantime.
Thank you. I'll begin a question and answer session. To ask a question, please press *1. Please unmute your phone and record your name when prompted. If your question has been answered, you may withdraw your request by pressing *2. And for your questions, press *1.
Great. Thank you, Becca.
Well, on that, there is something I did want to address, and that's the release form. You should use release forms, is the short answer. And yes, you can post something on the wall letting people know that this event is being recorded, and you're at a large event. That's probably the better way to do it. There are several sites, and we'll have to get a link for you on where you can get examples of release forms. But I'd like to ask Maggie and Amanda how you all have done it in the past when you are shooting video.
Well, for our program, we had a photo and release forms that kind of covered both in one form that all of the members signed right at our orientations. We kind of knew that everybody was all set. I believe our state office here in New Hampshire also had release members signing those sometimes at things like AmeriCorps Week events. But I've also definitely seen it done the other way too, where either in the emails or announcements I've gotten for events before in the past, or if it's a sign, letting people know that photos and video are going to be taken, and if you're uncomfortable, to please let somebody know, or to refrain, I guess, from certain sections, because when you do have a large group of people and you're taking photos and video, I know I can speak from experience, you have that name on a piece of paper checked off. They don't want their photo to be used, but it's very hard to remember names and faces when there's a lot of people milling around.
Yeah, we usually recommend, if that is the case, to ask the individual who would prefer not to be photographed or videoed to be off to the side. So you don't have to play a guessing game. So that's right. Good advice.
Add there?
I would just add, one of the you'll see on our channel is from Martin Luther King Day, and that we get like 600 people out to that event. And there are a good amount of people because we get kids out from JPO, that are participating on the day that can't have their photos taken, and we have a green dot system. So on the front of them, by their shirt collar, they're going to put a green dot, and then we'll actually ask them to put a green dot on the back of there as well, which because there's so many people at those events taking pictures and live tweeting and doing the whole thing. It should happen. We ask them to stand off on their own, and then anyone we have who's kind of being an e-reporter for us, we tell them to be looking for green dots and not to post pictures. They have someone who has a green dot on them and kind of thing. You do photo release forms, and then you do your very best to make sure that you're not capturing anybody who, their safety in some cases could be threatened if you did publicize their whereabouts.
Great. And when we did the Vista Reporters, how did we handle the releases?
We gave out releases. So, I do have a sample release that we can put somewhere up on the campus, and I still have those in file. I also wanted to just respond. Allison asked a very good question in the chat room. She says, on the subject of the sequester, can you, as a Vista, just make a video about the wonderful thing you do as a Vista and send that to, say, your legislature with no mention of the sequester in there? Absolutely, and that would be fantastic. It would be wonderful if more of our decision makers and stakeholders understand what it is that you all are doing as Vistas. And there's no reason in the world why you couldn't send them a video to say, hey, I'm in your district. I just wanted to let you know what some of the work is that's happening here to help reduce poverty in this community, or what have you. I think that would be fabulous, and we'd love to see that video as well. So thank you for thinking of that.
And I'm putting this in the chat feature, but just so everyone knows, we will get a copy of the photo and video release form and place it on the Social Media Monday course page as a complement to this presentation. The video will be available, as will the PowerPoint presentation, and we will add that document as well as a complement. Do we have any calls on the line?
Do we have any calls on the line?
We show questions in the queue.
Okay.
All right.
Media mavens, and they're very comfortable in the chat room, apparently.
Well, we like it, and it is, we're always happy to hear everybody's voices, but it is a little bit easier sometimes to participate in chat, and we understand that. So we stand, Danielle?
Robin, are we okay? Have we covered all of the big questions in the chat? Is there anything else we have everyone on the line that we need to address? Robin?
You may, Robin.
Okay. Well, let me take a quick peek and make sure we haven't overlooked anything.
Danielle, you're going to be in us in our Twitter chat here afterwards?
Yeah, Robin and I will be on the tweet chat, and we encourage you to please join us there. If you have not gotten all your questions, follow @VistaBuzz, and we will keep the conversation going. We also would love to have you share your tips as well. I love that green dot idea, as did the people in the chat. They thought what there was really fantastic. And to those of you who are on the call, please do fill out, if you have not already, the poll. I think it is just about closing, and we want to make sure that we get all your answers. And we thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, everybody. We really appreciate all the hard work that you're doing and helping to get messages out there and videos out there to really show the public and everyone in your community what it is that you're doing. So thank you. And Amanda and Maggie, woohoo!
Thank you for having us. Thank you to all the members for serving.
We'll be back here on the 4th and for Social Media Monday in June. Thank everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.